Another day, another story. Section 177 of IPC. Furnishing false information. Whoever, being legally bound to furnish information on any subject to any public servant, as such, furnishes, as true, information on the subject which he knows or has reason to believe to be false shall be punished with simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 months, or with fine which may extend to 1,000 rupees, or with both. Or, if the information which he is legally bound to give respects the commission of an offence, or is required for the purpose of preventing the commission of an offence, or in order to the apprehension of an offender, with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 2 years, or with fine, or with both. Illustrations. A landholder, knowing of the commission of a murder within the limits of his estate, willfully misinforms the magistrate of the district that the death has occurred by accident in consequence of the bite of a snake. A is guilty of the offence defined in this section. B. A village watchman, knowing that a considerable body of strangers has passed through his village in order to commit a dacoity in the house of Z, a wealthy merchant residing in a neighboring place, and being bound under Clause 5, Section 7, 2 Regulation 3, 1821, of the Bengal Code, to give early and punctual information of the above fact to the officer of the nearest police station, willfully misinforms the police officer that a body of suspicious characters passed through the village with a view to commit dacoity in a certain distant place in a different direction. Here A is guilty of the offence defined in the latter part of this section. Explanation. In section 176 and in this section the word offence includes any act committed at any place out of 4, India, which, if committed in 3, India, would be punishable under any of the following sections, namely, 302, 304, 382, 392, 393, 394, 395, 396, 397, 398, 399, 402, 435, 436, 449, 450, 457, 458, 459 and 460. And the word offender includes any person who is alleged to have been guilty of any such act. Section 178 of IPC refusing oath or affirmation when duly required by public servant to make it. Whoever refuses to bind himself by an oath 5, or affirmation, to state the truth, when required so to bind himself by a public servant legally competent to require that he shall so bind himself, shall be punished with simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 months, or with fine which may extend to 1,000 rupees, or with both. Section 179 of IPC. Refusing to answer public servant authorized to question. Whoever, being legally bound to state the truth on any subject to any public servant, refuses to answer any question demanded of him touching that subject by such public servant in the exercise of the legal powers of such public servant, shall be punished with simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 months, or with fine which may extend to 1,000 rupees, or with both. Section 180 of IPC refusing to sign statement. Whoever refuses to sign any statement made by him, when required to sign that statement by a public servant legally competent to require that he shall sign that statement, shall be punished with simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 months, or with fine which may extend to 500 rupees, or with both. Section 181 of IPC false statement on oath or affirmation to public servant or person authorized to administer an oath or affirmation. Whoever, being legally bound by an oath for, or affirmation, to state the truth on any subject to any public servant or other person authorized by law to administer such oath 1, or affirmation, makes, to such public servant or other person as aforesaid, touching that subject, any statement which is false, and which he either knows or believes to be false or does not believe to be true, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Section 182 of IPC. False information, with intent to cause public servant to use his lawful power to the injury of another person. Whoever gives to any public servant any information which he knows or believes to be false, intending thereby to cause, or knowing it to be likely that he will thereby cause, such public servant to do or omit anything which such public servant ought not to do or omit if the true state of facts respecting which such information is given were known by him, or to use the lawful power of such public servant to the injury or annoyance of any person, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 6 months, or with fine which may extend to 1000 rupees, or with both. Illustrations. A informs a magistrate that Z, a police officer, subordinate to such magistrate, has been guilty of neglect of duty or misconduct, knowing such information to be false, and knowing it to be likely that the information will cause the magistrate to dismiss ZA has committed the offense defined in this section. A falsely informs a public servant that Z has contraband salt in a secret place, knowing such information to be false, and knowing that it is likely that the consequence of the information will be a search of Z's premises, attended with annoyance to ZA has committed the offense defined in this section. A falsely informs a policeman that he has been assaulted and robbed in the neighborhood of a particular village. He does not mention the name of any person as one of his assailants, but knows it to be likely that in consequence of this information the police will make enquiries and institute searches in the village to the annoyance of the villagers or some of them. A has committed an offense under this section. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.